How's it going?
It's going, and we're going into
Round two.
We have on deck here, we're talking about some local basketball. Right now, we at 6A competing as we speak in Coke Arena. We only City League team on the boys' side is competing down one going into the fourth quarter as Wichita East. And hopefully, we hope they'll be able to be successful in that as well. Also, we had Lawrence beat Wichita South, lost, and Lawrence will be there. So is Lawrence and Shawnee Mission North played today. Latha East and Wichita East are battling it out as we speak, and that's interesting. And that's in 6A boys. 5A boys, we have Mays South playing Bishop Carroll right now as we speak. It's a battle. Battle of the boys there, 5A. It's getting interesting. We're getting some updates and say the game is getting a little chippy, and they're grabbing and pushing. Is getting really competitive because some of those players know each other. Okay. So there's some closeness there. Also, we have Capon is out. They lost. Wichita Heights is still trying to fight for their life there in 5A, and Blue Valley West beat Shawnee Heights. So today you got Blue Valley West and Wichita Heights battling out in 5A boys. Okay. 4A Division 1, they split it up. I have no idea. It's not like our population's that big enough in Kansas, but they have two divisions in 4A for some reason. And I think that's just to create more titles, if you ask me. And that's being played in the Bicentennial Center in Salina. Here you got Ottawa is trying to hold on. Beat Linwood out there. They're playing right now in Bicentennial, and McPherson is trying to do something special in 4A Division 1 boys. Don't ask me. 4A Division 2.
We were 4A.
We're
independent.
Yeah, they're 3
for one year.
Yeah, they're 3A now. You got 4A Division 2. Got Holcomb, one of the more. I'm just naming the teams that are more closer to us. Holcomb is trying to get to the state championship for tomorrow. Trinity Academy versus Rock Academy. Trinity Academy will be winning your local teams to trying to get to the state.
Shout out to I9 Sports.
I9 Sports. Trinity.
Trinity Academy.
Go play your soccer field.
Football, that's right. I9 Sports.
Okay. 3A is out in the Hutchinson Arena. Today you got Wellsville versus Scott City. Scott City is known for their being a powerhouse in 3A on the boys' side. And then Wichita Collegiate on the boys is trying to get in there playing Sabathia, excuse me. I probably pronounced it wrong because there it goes, but I know how to pronounce Wichita Collegiate. How about that? Okay. 2A. That's played out in Manhattan at Bromwich Coliseum. 2A. Here, semifinal Central Plains, and then St. John on the boys' side. St. John is undefeated actually, and they'll try to get to that state championship. Those are the games that are going on today. Here we have another one. 1A Division 1, 1A Division 2. Now this is legitimate because it's about 94 small schools.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. You think you should combine and then you'll just have more 2A and 3A schools, right?
Exactly.
You would think. But, and then people complain about the budget. Where you got all the small schools. I'm not going to get into politics, but you got 94 small 1A schools. Something is not right in the 21st
Exactly.
And, and we're allowed it. Okay.
I don't understand it. Don't make sense to me.
In the semifinals here, you got Stockton's pretty good on the boys' side. They're trying to get after it. They're trying to get down. You got Hartford and Hanover going at it on the other side. So all this tonight is the Final Four, and they play back to back to back. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty interesting how they set up. I think in the high school you should at least give them one night in between there, and I think they kind of do if you start to win. It all depends where your seed is and everything. 1A Division 2 is out in Dodge City for the boys and girls. Of course, Dodge City Division II will be at the United Wireless Arena. I had a chance to on that court. It's a nice atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a once in a lifetime experience for some of those players because they'll probably never play on a court like that again. Maybe not. Who knows? You never know. Yeah. Semifinals are going on right now as we speak. It's Caldwell versus Wallace County, and then Central Christian. And I can definitely tell you Central Christian lost to St. John's, Beloit St. John's Tipton.
Okay.
So we did not get the scoring yet for the Caldwell Wallace County, but Hutchinson Central Christian County. That's probably one of the deepest the boys team got in a long time, and they lost in the semifinal. Got to the Final Four of that. So hats off to them. And championship will be played on Saturday. So all championship Saturday. Girls 6A. We'll talk about it again. Mays High School girls still undefeated. They're in the state championship.
I mean, they can do it.
They're in the state championship.
I think they can do it.
So Wichita South that's who they lost to the last time in the state championship was Wichita South. So it looks like the Wichita South girls will play tonight. It just got underway actually. So if they can take care of business, it'll be a rematch.
We'll see.
Of last year's title. So, pretty interesting. And Wichita South is playing Washburn Rural. So,
Washburn Rural.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know. It's not a Washburn city.
Schools. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure there's another political meaning to it. I don't know. What is it? You know?
Can't say Washburn because Washburn's actually a school.
School. So
exactly.
Washburn.
A college.
College. So it's rural.
So you got to say Washburn.
Rural. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Girls 5A being played out in Topeka, the Expo Center. Today, semifinals playing between Blue Valley Southwest versus St. Thomas Aquinas. And then Capon, on the girls' side, Capon is still in it as of tonight. And we'll look to see what those results. Hopefully, they'll be on the winning side just because they're more local side representing 5A, Capon Mount Carmel versus Leavenworth. Okay. And 4A Division I girls, here we go with the divisions. At the Bicentennial Center again in Salina. Oh, man. And that has, as the Topeka Hayden versus, was it Bishop Marge or whatever you call it? I don't know. I that spell always, and then was it Paola and Bueller? I'm playing Bueller and Paola, a pretty good, intense team, so it'll be interesting how those pan out. So that's what you got going on. 4A Division II. Hugoton is still in the hunt. I mentioned Hugoton because of my friend and business partner lost to Hugoton by 3 points in the championship, sub-state championship. And his team was ranked number 4, playing his number 1 team, but you don't have the ranked teams playing in the state playoffs. Go figure. That's why I said there's something we need to look at the system. If somebody is ranked in the state in their class all season, then you don't qualify to get in the state playoffs.
Yeah,
you don't get your best teams in there.
Correct.
Most of the first rounds, quarterfinals are blown. You're losing that competent. You're losing that edge, and so it's a flaw in the system. And I'm not just saying it because I have a few good friends and coaches. That is how do you're not rewarding consistency and hard work on that. It's on the high school level. Let's just talk about on the scholastic level. So there's Clay Center versus Hugoton today on 4A Division 1, and then Concordia in Baldwin. That's Division 2, 4A Division 2. So 4A Division 2, girls side, Clay Center, Hugoton, Concordia and Baldwin. Moving on to 3A, again out in Hutchinson. Heston, they're looking at Cimarron. I have a good friend of mine. He's the head coach there. Cimarron, they're undefeated. Heston's undefeated, but they got to get past their semifinal opponents, their Final Four opponents here in 3A. And I am expecting Cimarron and Heston to collide heads and see, the battle of the undefeateds. Both teams are undefeated, so that'll be awesome. That'll be very interesting. 2A, of course, girls out Manhattan. 2A here is Meade. Meade is playing Central Plains, and Mound Ridge versus Valley Falls.
Mound Ridge.
Mound Ridge is usually competitive anyway, boys and girls. Girls has been for a while, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get over that hump and get into that state playoff. 1A Division I out in Emporia. Girls. Hoxie is undefeated playing center. St. Paul's versus Centralia, and I can tell you now, Hoxie punched their ticket to the championship. They have won about 90-something consecutive. It's been about 4 seasons of undefeated.
3-4. That's quite the run they got.
Anything. I mean, I know people say, "Oh, it's 1A," but just
still a run.
It's a run.
Yeah.
For high school, that is amazing, and then to keep people healthy or to battle through injuries, possibly. You just never know what goes on there. So I'm impressed. And then on the other side, who's looking to just be their guest at the state championship of 1A Division I is between St. Paul and Centralia. I have Hoxie grabbing that title again this year. Girls, Hoxie girls. So Division II, one of my AAU team players, Kelsey Mueller, went off in the quarterfinals. She plays for Moscow, and she will be playing tonight, and I wish best to her and the team. This is Division II. It will be Wheatland Grinnell versus Moscow, and Norwich versus Beloit St. John's Tipton.
We're still in America, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It didn't seem it's far west, but it didn't.
I was wondering. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, Moscow. The Lady Wildcats, right? We still in America.
We're still in America.
Well, it doesn't feel like it. The further west Kansas you go, it doesn't.
Crazy.
You feel like you're in another country. I've been out there, and it's like, man, which way is Wichita? You know. So, and the only reason I've been out there is just because there's some great student athletes and families out there that are part of, or that are part of our AAU program at Kansas Basketball Academy Foundation. So we're grateful for them being part of it. But yeah, I do feel like I'm in another country. I appreciate you. I appreciate I9 Sports allowing came back this time just to kind of highlight the success and achievements of all these high schools that work hard to put themselves in a position to compete in state playoffs. To me, and we're going to move on because we got other great things to address. To me, I still feel that we don't play enough games, and we're not in certain sports here on high school level. We're not putting our student athletes in a position to compete on the national level and to understand the performance of what it takes to be Division I, any Division I or Division II college player, because we haven't touted that yet. And that's also due to antiquated rules and regulations you have on the state high school association level, which, if you notice, is what is kind of influenced by your Division 1A, Division 2, because your smaller schools want to play 552 sports. And so there you have it. And I'm not going to get on that soapbox, but
we'll get on that in a different segment.
Yeah,
different segment. Going from small to large.
Moving forward.
We're going to talk about NBA. Hassan Whiteside. It's his second. He's coming back actually today from a suspension from elbowing or forearming Kelly Olynyk in the back of the forehead. And previously he had tackled Alex Lynn, looking like a UFC fighter. I think that he kind of made mistakes, and it should just be that.
Okay, I think you and I were in the prep room yesterday. I was like, well, what about Ron Artest? As mild compared to Ron Artest. Remember the Bad Boys Detroit Pistons of old? They played that way.
That's what people said.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, this is a mild situation and a young man adjusting to competing and start. Yeah, so it's a whole bunch. It's not just he can compete physically, he can, but now it's a whole different emotional and mental approach it takes to being an NBA player, night in and night out. And again, nobody's just going to haul off on someone. We talked about this goes back to the low blow, James Harden low blow. Nobody's just going to kick somebody or hit somebody for no reason. There is a cause and an effect to everything. So that's what we have to look at. I mean, we don't want to investigate that because I think it's petty, and we believe that he can move past that, and he should be able to move past that. It's not a career ending.
Yeah.
It's not like you put him in a triple suplex or something.
They're gonna mess with his money this next year, though. As far as the extension or the
other teams are gonna want him though.
True. Even
regardless of this, other teams are gonna want him just size of what he can do. So you can't look and his marketability. Look, any publicity is good publicity.
Very true.
In that professional world. So sometimes it's just to keep yourself on the street, and I don't think he's that savvy enough to say, "Hey, I'm just getting some trouble to kind of up my ante." I mean, Miami is a good fit for him because they gave him an opportunity to have a career. But now he's on the radar, and teams are going to want him.
And I, as a Miami fan, I hope he stays with us. Willis Reed, punched Celtics. He punched the whole Celtic bench one by one. And it was very little talked about because that's the type of play they had back in the day.
Right.
So I don't think it's
just people just have to make a soap opera out of these days. That's why I'm glad we do what we do because we're not here to berate someone's character. Those are the things that happen in the heat of competition.
Exactly.
Is it always the right decision or are they always the worst person? But until you've been in the heat of battle. It's easy to sit and watch somebody and analyze them from a booth and you've never played or you've never been on that level of competition. And so this is another reason why we do what we do because we get it.
Exactly.
Exactly. Hassan White said, Whiteside, you going to be all right.
You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right.
Okay, just move forward.
So switching over to NBA to MLB, Alex Rodriguez hits his first home run.
That's your boy.
That is not my boy, but it is news. And for some reason, people are like, "Oh, A-Rod hitting his first home run. Is it a good, sign of things to come? Or is it just a fluke?"
It's a sign of spring season warming up. Spring training.
Yeah.
I think it's good for him. It's good for the Yankees. It's positive news. So for the Yankee franchise is good. It's positive news that you need because you had such a dark clouds lingering. So this is something that you need just to break that dark cloud. So to me, for right now, any good news is better than the news that's been coming from Alex Rodriguez and his camp.
Yeah. So. Some more spring news. The spring continues because there really isn't that much news. The spring continues. MLB to MMA.
Wow, man!
Felix Jones, aka Ben Fedor, a mixed martial artist, part-time crime fighter.
I walked in the prep room. Everybody, you have to hear this. I walked in the prep room, and Dave was like, "Mike, you got this?" I said, "No way." You had the bleeps. I was cussing it. I said, "This is really." And all I can say, man, you got to tell the story because I just came into the tail end of it when you showed it to me.
He's from Seattle. Okay, from Washington, I believe, from Washington area. I'm not sure if it's Seattle, but he goes around town just helping poor folks, drunk people. If somebody is attacking somebody with a knife or somebody, he has a bulletproof vest. He wears a mask.
This is real.
This is a real guy. You can look him up. His name is Felix Jones. And now he does part-time MMA, and he's actually really, really good on his feet. I a superhero, a real-life superhero.
I say crazy, but impressive, commendable at the same time. And I think what stuck out in that mini documentary was the fact that you could see he was doing something that he loved to do.
He did, yeah.
He wasn't just... When he said, "I'm getting back and fight because the money is the means to continue to be a superhero, to be a protector of my neighborhood." And so that was the impressive part. I wasn't getting back and fight so I could make it rain. It was because I wanted to because I want to, continue doing what I love to do for the neighborhood. And I'm impressed, and my thoughts go, I appreciate a person like that. We don't have enough people like that. Nobody is paying.
I wouldn't do it
to be a superhero. No, I wouldn't do it either because somebody come through a double barrel shotgun,
and gunshots have happened. Gunshots fired, not knives.
A bulletproof, uniform can go but so far.
It ain't gonna stop his chin ain't gonna stop a bullet.
Right.
It's not gonna happen. But hopefully he doesn't get hurt on the streets. And I hope he goes to the UFC and he makes a name for himself.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I do. I hope he makes a name for himself.
I think it's going to take a lot. I don't see that happening right away, but I think there'll be some coercion because there'll be some people that want to see him compete in the UFC, but I don't think it's going to happen right away. I think this is setting a platform
to him to go to the UFC.
UFC.
He signed with the WSOF, the World Series of Fighting Championship. And I think that that's our base step before you go to that next level. And he shows what he can do there. Hopefully, he can make that money to become a superhero and continue to be so. Ending up on a sad note, the WSU.
You're happy about it.
I'm happy about it. Some of us are sad. The WSU losing in semis. How do you think that's going to affect their seeding?
A team like that actually needs rest. I don't think, nobody goes into it, we're going to lose so we can get rest, had attention. But this goes back to what we talked about, maturity, growing pains, and you have two juniors learning how to be leaders and stepping up and filling pieces. And then you had an Illinois State that were healthy. They weren't healthy all season. So you have to give them credit. It wasn't like it was a fluke. This was a team that was capable of competing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, and they showed it even in their loss to Northern Iowa. They were leading Northern Iowa most of the game until the last 3 or 2 minutes or so. So this is a legitimate. Illinois State was a legitimate team that will be contending next season. They'll be on the radar. Will they be ranked? I won't say that, but they'll be in the making.
Yeah.
So again, then I think Wichita State will be doing improved because you have a Van Fleet and the Ron Baker that have been tried and true. They have had a maturity process this year, and that's just what you need to say. And they'll get out. They'll get out the. I will be bold enough to say they'll get out the first round, but I don't see them making it past the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
it's just a maturity process this year. Just losing all those key players.
Understandable.
He didn't pay the light bill. Okay.
I never paid the light bill. It's okay because we actually got some light outside, so we still see our faces. But the last thing, just to fact check, I had said that Frank Gore got $32 million. He actually got $12 million.
12 million.
3 years, $12 million, paying him $4 million a year average.
So I noticed how in our NFL edition, can we just make a quick change? And Winston,
Jameis Winston,
goes to the Goodell office, and there's no other. Isn't that?
He's meeting with them. No other meetings. I think it's just to say, hey, I did not do what people said I did.
Oh, I didn't do it that much.
Well, the rape charges.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't me.
As R. Kelly said, that was my cousin.
And he's going to be the number one pick. And I think that's just to kind of say, hey,
from one athlete to a non-athlete that makes millions of dollars. In Roger Goodell, you never knew. You never played realistically. You do not even know how it feels to be in this microscope of the world. So you can go ahead and make decisions about other grown men.
You really don't like it, though, do you?
I don't.
That's all right, though. That's
the last commissioner, he let men be men.
Exactly.
And then your consequences are consequent. You can't sit there and he's like the big bad boarding school president. It's not boarding school.
That's all we have time for today. That's true. Yeah. The boarding school.
Yeah, it's like these are millionaire athletes.
Correct.
Making these. They don't have to be Here's the thing. Whatever they, of course, if something happens that involves the law, then you have to issue a deal. But you don't. Just this extensive and the punishments. These are not little kids.
No.
that getting in trouble with the law, that's the consequence enough. And then whatever, let the team. What is the consequence with the team when you get in trouble? Why does it have to come from him all the time? So that maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's different, but the team should handle it. They got in trouble, or they did something that's not. They have these charges. The team should issue that. Deal with that internally. They shouldn't have to come. The president is not there to issue a punishment because a franchise is responsible for the player first, in the sense of how they deal with, whether they made it to media or not, or whether, here's the thing is, why didn't, Ben Roethlisberger get suspended? Like, in those times, and it was before him, but I'm just saying, let's talk about, and those are things that I just want to point out.
And once again, I think that is another segment that
right. So that's
a whole
right now it says free agent and trades.
You know what I'm saying? Free agent trades. We'll get back to that.
And James
Winston, crazy. But like I said, actually no, 5th round pick for Mike Wallace over at the Dolphins. That just got announced.
So now, can you refresh me again? I thought Mike Wallace was going. So they sent. That's right. They sent Mike Wallace out.
They're sending Mike Wallace to the Vikings. And Kenny Stills from the Saints is coming to the Vikings. That's Dolphins. Correct.
Wouldn't you keep Mike Wallace?
He didn't produce last year.
That was last year though.
They thought they were going to get something they didn't. I guess that's the reason.
But that's a part of human nature, and that's somebody's first season. They're going to adjust to not winning. First of all,
2 seasons. He was 2 seasons. This is the thing. He had 1,000-yard seasons in all of his 6 seasons with Steelers,
okay. And
then he goes to the Dolphins and does not put up 1,000-yard season each of those. Could it be quarterback? I think it is
quarterback. I mean, come on. You got to have a line for somebody to throw. To me, that's a knee-jerk reaction. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to get at, Dave. Is that was stupid.
Larry Fitz gets his numbers up. He had no quarterback.
Good point.
There we go. Thank you very much. We're going to get out of here. David Allen with I9 Sports.
Michael Coleman with Kansas Basketball Academy Foundation, a.k.a. K-Bath.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.